Hello, Scott Nanley here, and I'm going to show you how to get to the moon. So we've got our spaceship here. It's a little unconventional in the sense that it seems to be mostly fuel and engines. But that's okay, because we're looking for the most efficient method to get to the moon, and a way to do it in style. You can see that our nav ball appears to be reversed. That's mainly because our command pod is mounted upside down. You'll see a reason for that later. We'll blast off here and head straight up to get out of the soupy part of the atmosphere. In the meantime, it means we have to navigate backwards. But since we aren't trying to get into orbit, that's no problem. We're just going to point at the moon and go full throttle. We're keeping our engines at a low thrust level right now, just enough to keep us going straight up. What we want to do is make sure that our solid rocket boosters run out of fuel before the liquid engines do. Our first stage is complete, so we'll eject those SRBs and power up to full throttle. A lot of people like to get into an orbit before they head to an other planetary body. Not us. What we're going to do is we're going to set the moon as our target, and then we're going to head straight for it, swapping in between map mode and ship mode so that we can go and make sure that we get a direct line target. Now, Einstein's theory of general relativity says that if an object is in motion, you need to aim in front of it if you want to hit it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to adjust our trajectory just a little bit here and there, and adjust it until we get a dead-on target at the moon. Just like hitting the fat kid in dodgeball, the moon is a slow-moving target. So we can really get a bullseye here and land directly on the bright side. Here we go. Now we're lined up to hit it dead on. Since we're lined up here, we're going to go ahead and get rid of our liquid booster. Since we don't have a really good way of doing that right now, we're just going to spin as fast as we can and eject it with our decoupler. And that ought to send it off on its own merry way. We've got these two solid rocket boosters left. These are our brakes. We're going to wait for our approach to the moon and get down to a pretty low altitude before we fire these off to slow us down. We'll fire these solid rocket boosters at 30,000 meters. At a low enough altitude, we'll eject the solid rocket boosters, deploy our landing gear, and engage our last engine to slow us down and find an appropriate landing spot. It looks like there's a mooner arch over there, so we're going to go ahead and adjust our landing and head over that direction and see if we can land near it. Well, here we are, we've landed, and we're right by the arch. We're going to get out and plant a flag, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. Come back and see more Scott Nanley videos. and the next episode of How to Do Things Wrong.